Hello everyone, and thank you very much for tuning in. I of course am Rotype. Welcome back to Cities Skylines Redux, where I must admit I got a little carried away in the interim between episodes, and well, let's just go ahead and show you what I've ended up with. Now, I know it looks like a lot, and it kind of is. But what I can do, I mean, I will certainly show you everything that was done, and we'll talk about it as we go forward, but it's not anything too detailed. So if you're interested in really the kind of the details and, you know, just exactly what was going on, we'll definitely go over that both now in this overview and again when I actually go in detail. So for example, you can see this is just patchy ground. I obviously have to go in and add grass and, industrial goods and all that other fencing, a lot of fencing, but just all that other stuff. So this block is the block we did last episode. And as you can see, you can compare this block to any of these other blocks. And there's all kinds of props and things that need to be added, decals, ground, surface painting, all that kind of stuff. But let's see, I think the best way to do this will be to zoom out a little bit first. And you can see kind of the biggest impact is the rail lines. I went ahead and added spurs, industrial spurs, to our rail here. And I like the way this looks. I was, again, looking off of some Google Maps images as reference. And you see just kind of rail lines all over the place on the outside of ports. So as we talked about a couple episodes ago, the terminals are going to be kind of these jutting sections into the river. And so we did the first terminal here, and then we'll have another 2 terminals here, maybe another couple over here. But on the kind of interior inland side of the port, you'll see just all these warehouse buildings. And this is where the rails really just kind of go haphazard, at least in my research. So that's kind of what I tried to mimic. I mean, haphazard's probably the wrong word, but just out to random businesses. It is kind of nice that this one, I don't have the, there we go, let's pull this up. So this is kind of nice. This is one of Avanya's distribution center pieces. And I like that it actually uses the rail, so that's kind of cool. But it's the same idea where you just basically have a warehouse and then a rail next to it. I went ahead and added this crane park asset off the workshop as well, because I figured if anywhere in this kind of warehouse area you're going to see cranes, it's going to be next to one of the rails. But the rest of them, I think, are pretty much just empty rails. So you won't see too many trains coming in. Oh, I did add this as well. This is the, let's go ahead and take a look at the name so I don't mess it up here. Kansas City Freight House. And I believe this is, let's see, does he say here? No, I believe this is Lightfoot, the asset creator, and his assets are awesome. Pardon me if I'm mistaken, but I believe that's the same guy who does these kind of loft buildings. Maybe not these, because these have been around for a while, but the ones that look like this, I believe it's the same guy. Again, pardon me if I'm wrong, but they're both really good assets, and I like to use them. So again, similar to this distribution center, I was happy to use a warehouse that could, see, there it goes, just building a train itself. I was happy to use a warehouse that can actually interact with the train lines as well. But the rest of these are just inactive aesthetic trains. But again, as you can see, there's really nothing fancy going on. It was pretty much just flipping through the Reco menu and plopping some warehouse industry assets. Now, this is a fire that's happening, and I don't believe I have a fire station over here yet. So I'm going to try and stick one in somewhere so this building doesn't burn down. The annoying thing about the Reco assets is that they can still burn down. I mean, I suppose that's realistic, right? But then instead of regrowing as if it were a growable, you have to then remember what was there and then replop it. So yeah, that'll work. And obviously with the rest of the area, I'll have to detail that later. But hopefully send out some fire trucks, maybe. Speed this up. No, of course the fire trucks are probably coming from way over in the actual town where I have a fire department. I think I have a fire department somewhere. Well, I'm just gonna wait here for a second. This will probably burn down, get auto bulldoze, and I'll just have to plop another one. But that'll give you a really short view. Basically, this is what I was up to, is go in here, skim through my ploppable Rico assets, and stick it down. So there's a good example of what was going on in this area. Again, very little detail, just kind of plopping buildings to see what the feel. Over here, you can see a lot of this has grown in. Most of that was already there. The grid pattern was already there. I just zoned in. I'll show you the zones a little bit. So this avenue here has the commercial on it. That was there. And then I added this avenue, I believe was not there at the time. So I added this avenue, or boulevard, I guess I'm trying to call the larger 6-lane roads, and put commercial on that. And then the rest is just our grid pattern with some high residential in. And I have this theme I'm calling Tall New York, because I don't have a better name for it, because it kind of looks like the Manhattan buildings by Fine Build, but they're taller. So I called them tall. And I like them because they have the flat roofs. I really like having kind of a neighborhood with these wall-to-wall type buildings with flat roofs. So, oh, here's our fire station. That's right. So we at least have some fire coverage. However, the next problem I was arising, well, actually, before I get to that, the largest change I'm sure you'll notice is all of our freeways. And I suppose I'll start over here. So nothing out of town was changed. I did go ahead and I believe at the end of last episode, this interstate, this highway was not connected at all. So I went ahead and built this trumpet interchange, which I like. I think it came out pretty nice. It's kind of like the other one out of town that we did in episode 1, just long and flowing and very high speed. I did go ahead and add these rocks and just kind of dirty decal stuff going on in between here. I like the way the train also kind of comes in here. This is the split for right now. The train going this way just ends, but I can imagine this will be maybe a passenger line into the city or something. And then this one obviously goes into our industry port area. So I really like how this came out, like I said, and probably more importantly than that, it actually connects our industry so they can get goods. Now I'm curious, I'm just going to pause here and grab one of these trucks. So it's interesting how they're exporting. That's odd. But let's just see where some of these people are going. Driving to work, industry. Let's find some of these trucks. Owner Springwood, owner Lake Valley. Interesting. So it looks like, well, returning to facility. I wonder where it's going. So that brings up another point while I'm talking about it, is that I was having such a major problem with goods, and even more than goods, raw materials. So all of these Rico buildings are set to industry, as you can see. And the way I understand it, at least, is that they were set to consume processed raw materials, which is not the same as directly extracted. So they were set to consume processed raw materials and produce goods. And then the goods get shipped to, I point over here because this is the only commerce I have right now, but the goods would then be made and shipped over to commerce. I was having a problem where my industries, all of these buildings, every single one, was complaining that they did not have raw materials. And my commerce buildings were complaining that they didn't have any goods. So I suppose that commerce buildings make sense. If the industry buildings were not making goods, the commerce buildings couldn't get the goods. Except for the fact that I didn't understand why they were not importing, especially the industry buildings. I understand, some of them need, actually we can see that here on the info view. Some of them need various different types of raw materials, the forest, agriculture, ore, and oil products. Now, obviously I don't have any of those on the map yet. I don't have any of the extractors to pull it out of the ground, and I don't have any of the processors to turn it into the goods that the industry needs, or the raw materials that the industry needs. However, I don't understand why they wouldn't import them. As you can see here, you feel like they should just be importing. But that was clearly just not happening because they weren't getting any of their goods. So basically, long story short, what I had to end up doing was installing a mod called Infinite Goods, which I think was probably built to handle the commercial goods problem that a lot of people have been having for a long time. But I was having a similar import issue with the industry. Now, why they couldn't get their imports, I don't understand. There are working ports here. As we talked about just a minute ago, there are some working train stations. You can see them running. And perhaps more important than anything else, that's well connected to the highway network. I even went over here and added another interchange here. This one may or may not stay, but I wanted to get it connected. I wanted to get this highway connected, and obviously this one was connected before, needed to remain that way. And so you can see there are trains running this way, there are trucks running this way. It perplexed me. I did not understand. I really didn't like the idea of going with the Infinite Goods mod because I wanted to see the traffic. And part of this game that really is interesting to me is managing the way cargo is handled, obviously from either import or extraction from the ground into processors, into goods manufacturers, and then off to industry. Apparently something broke, or I'm doing something foolish. I don't know. I don't understand it. But anyway, we've been talking about goods for way too long, but that was a large source of frustration over the last couple days, trying to figure out what the deal is and turning on that mod. I'm going to keep playing with it. And if anybody else knows what the deal is with that, please let me know. Because like I said, I would like to not have to use the Infinite Goods mod. I mean, I would like to be able to balance my production with my goods industry and the extraction from the ground and stuff like that. Maybe I'm really just out of balance, and once I start building farms and oil extractors and stuff, things will balance back on. But anyway, enough about that. We'll go back into the city here. And so this is the other kind of double interchange I built here. You'll notice if you look at it carefully, you can't quite access all of the directions depending on which way. So I've limited these interchange connections, intersections here to pretty much just the, well, as you can see, kind of the in direction paths, because I didn't want to have a stoplight and kind of weird crossings and stuff. And I figured, for example, if you're coming up this way and you want to go left onto one of these, either straight left here or back down south, well, south compared to which way we're looking now, you would not be able to do it here, but it's not too much of a question to ask to come up to this intersection, turn left, and then get on this highway. And then you're already pointing this way. And if you need to, you can do this and head off in that direction. So again, looking at real interchanges, they're not always all access, I guess I should say. So I think this came out pretty cool. I like the way it worked. I like how some of these lane connections actually worked pretty well. Sometimes that's a little tricky, but especially with this unique kind of double interchange connection here, I like the way that worked. So I added all this. Obviously, this is now connected in a little more realistic looking manner. Remember before there used to be just this hard kink between an interstate and like a boulevard or something. I did replace, this used to be like an 8-lane road or something. I replaced it with 2-lane highways because I realized I wanted them to be highways, especially once it got down into the city here. It was just better off to have them be highway roads instead of the boulevard road with zoning and all that. It's just better this way. And then finally, as I kind of talked about before, this is just the expansion of the grid. There's really nothing fancy going on. It was the same grid, just expanded. I did not add any services, which brings us to what I need to work on right now, actually. I did add this cemetery, and what I want to do is actually kind of just turn this corner into a little cemetery. It's going to be probably 100%, what's the word I'm looking for, decorative, because I found on the workshop, and unfortunately they're not loaded into my game right now, so I'll have to do that a little bit later. but there are basically prop cemetery pieces that I'm going to put in there. So that'll be nice. I'll do that either on camera or off, but I'll show you guys what that looks like when I'm done. But really, after all that talking, what I've been talking for, 15 minutes, I need to really start getting some proper services covered here. So we've had some fire problems, not too bad here, but as you saw in here, we've had some fire problems. I am going to go ahead and just add another fire station. And again, I'm faced with this problem I was having. I probably talked about this before, where in these wall-to-wall type areas, none of these fire stations really feel good. I did just get this one, which is brand new, and I apologize, I forgot the name of the asset creator who made this. But you know what I could do maybe is just add a street here. Let's turn snapping on so I can connect it nicely. And this could possibly be, thinking maybe like a park area. Just as you enter, you can imagine, let's clear the info view. You can imagine you enter the city, you go under the bridge, and then there's like a nice little park here before you get into the city type waterfront. Waterfront parks are always nice, right? So if you put a park kind of in here, then it wouldn't look too bad. Let's see, is this too big? Yeah, that's quite large for this urban area. Wouldn't look too bad to have just kind of like a modern fire department. Let's see, I want the park, so maybe like right about there. And this will be, let's turn the sun up around just a little bit. So this is a pretty nice building. It's very modern looking, but it's not too bad. I think we can work that into the area. So let's take a look. That covers pretty much this side, and we need to get something in over here as well. So I'm also imagining this kind of point here to be park. But again, I think parks make a nice transition zone between this kind of wall-to-wall type area and something different. So I'm going to go police. We need to do that later. And man, these vanillas are just, I don't know, they're not ugly, but I don't really like them. So let's see, maybe I stick, yeah, how about that? And let's zone in, I'll show that whole thing. So this will just be a small, and you know, actually I want this to face the river. So if we do it like that, zone in that building there, and that can just be a small little local fire department that, you know, has probably been there for ages and ages before all this stuff was built up. And then this will be our park and kind of hug it right there. All right, so that should cover fire. There's a little bit of an issue here, but maybe we might be okay. Next is police. So let's go to police if I remember my hotkey. It looks like police is well covered just by the one, wherever it is. Here it is. This wall-to-wall police department. So if we can believe the green, that's fine. So good. Don't have to worry about that. Now, as you can see, health is definitely a problem. I have a hospital way down here. Do I? Hospital? Yeah, I have two hospitals way down there, but I think it's just way too far away. And as you can see, it's interesting that it is, let's turn the overlay, whoops. Let's turn the overlay back on. If I push the right button, there we go. And you can definitely see the effect of the noise because these are all commercial and all of these nearby houses are totally sick. So how do I want to handle the health problem? It's a similar issue I've been having with the fire department and even a little bit with the police department. Is I have some of these great assets, like this city hospital looks really nice. I mean, it's hard to tell with this info view on. This is great. And then this one obviously is really, it's modern, but it's really cool looking. I like this one as well. Ooh, this one even goes over the road. That's kind of cool. We need a different type of road, but yeah, these are great, but I don't know that they fit this kind of oldish town. I mean, old town might not be the right wording, but you know, this theme I have going on, these just stand out. I mean, we kind of did it with the high school, but I don't want to keep doing it. I don't want to have just like these nice buildings, flat top buildings all over the place, and then all of a sudden just like square. So let's see what I can do about that. I have some of these other ones that are really small. I mean, rural clinic, this will probably not be remotely what I'm looking for. Yeah, I mean, it's just like a tiny little building. I got another one here. What is this one called? Small clinic. And then ambulance depot. This one doesn't even have pavement underneath it. So Yeah, maybe I could stick a clinic in. That might, I mean, unless it gets dwarfed. It might get dwarfed by like, all of these tall buildings that are going on in here. So let's see if there's a good place to stick this. I usually like to put these places where buildings aren't going to grow anyway. Although maybe I can turn it into a park area. Let's see what I can come up with here. Now this building is back. I thought I got rid of it. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let's dezone just this corner. Please bulldoze this and this. Go away. And so let's see how bad this clinic looks if I just stick it in. Oh, that's the police station, but nobody has to know that. The nice thing about the police station is it blends in. So if I put the clinic there, and maybe I can put the... Oh, the ambulance depot is tiny. Do I have anything else here? Not really. How about this clinic? Does this look awful? I mean, this is the vanilla one, but... Yeah, I guess that doesn't look so bad. It at least has a flat roof. I mean, it's really low, but... I guess you're not really going to notice. Maybe what we'll do, just to kind of put it in together, is just add this a little bit here and some fencing to kind of block it off. Fence. And we'll go with just a wooden fence is fine. I mean, we're in the city, but we just need to... Let's see, we'll close off this alley first. The nice thing about this being a police station is we know it's going to stay the same. It's not going to despawn on us and cause problems. And then, actually, you know, this... Maybe we just make parking. Forget the fence and go parking. And I don't know if I have anything that will work well 4x1. No, I need 1x4. Do I have a 1x4? Thought I did. I have so much parking, it's a little ridiculous. Am I blind? 4x4, 4x1. No, I guess not. Oh, that's fine. We can do it ourselves. So 6x1 parking decal. Oh, directional. Interesting. I thought that was a decal. That's fine. So let's go to the decal version. Stretch this out. Of course, they are the wrong direction. So we'll add 90 degrees. Get this out of the way a little bit. Now, man, is it just me or is that siren really loud? Sirens are always loud in this game. We're going to have to audio. I think it's an effect. I'll try to turn that down a little bit. Hopefully that's not too bad for you guys. I will try to get out of here soon so we're not faced with this siren immediately. Not functional. Parking decal. All right, let's get this done quickly here. Move the... Oh, wrong way. And this will be... Let's leave some sidewalk. And let's actually just... Whoops. Well, that's fine. I'm going to leave kind of access to that garbage. This is the back area. There we go. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. Of course, any kind of parking is not done without bumpers. Bumper. Alrighty, let's turn it off, this mode, and go to... And of course the direction is off again. Back to 0. 2.5 meter spacing. And there are bumpers. Great, so there is our clinic. Now, what else do we need here? We need schools. We got some kind of health coverage. Not great, but at least the roads are green. We've got decent death coverage. Actually, our healthcare availability is not super high, but you know what? To fix that, what I'm going to do is cheat, and I'm okay with it. Let's just plop another one down right on top. Healthcare availability is still not there yet. Another one. And one more. We'll obviously plop some more around somewhere to make up the difference, but I feel like sometimes this game can be a little unrealistic. So from here, not electricity, we need schooling. So let's look. This is a university. Oh, that must be one of the new assets I got. So let's start with elementary. We have the wall-to-wall elementary here that we placed, and clearly we are severely lacking in other elementaries. We have this orphanage that I think might look kind of nice. We can stick that. How does that look? Right there. My bulldoze key is broken. Let's clear some of these houses out of the way and let them regrow where they will need it. Yeah, that looks good. And then I can make, you know, other things around here. Actually, man, I don't know why my bulldoze key now does that, but let's dezone this. And we'll turn this into like a park, or actually probably just parking again. Because there isn't too much parking. Obviously, there's a city and there's not parking everywhere, but yeah, that's good. And we can turn this into just kind of like a back near the highway area, maybe a little playground, stuff like that. And then where were we? Schools. Let's turn info view back on. And obviously, we're going to double this up. Try and educate a few more people. And you know, we might just add, where is it? Another elementary school. Just somewhere, again, like the last one, you're not super going to notice. And, you know, that's right across the street from the high school, but because it's this wall-to-wall type, let's see if we can clear the zoned building. Can't tell which building that's going to clear. Yeah, hopefully the zone, well, there. That one will regrow. Yeah, so you can't really tell that it's a school right across from another school, which I like. So that'll work for that. And now high school. We're probably, yeah, severely lacking in high school capacity as well. So first thing, of course, double this up. That should cover not remotely enough. Let's see, are there any other schools that would look good in this urban setting? This one's not bad. It's kind of modern and again, doesn't really fit this type of theme. This one might work, the old high school. And now we have to decide where we want to put this. This is our park. We've kind of covered, we've kind of spoken for this area. It does sort of need to be on this side of town. And I haven't really decided what I want to do with this area back in here, but maybe we do that now quickly. At least lay some basic roads down. So do I want it to be on the same grid? Well, we have this avenue coming out of this grid, but I kind of think I might want to shift the grid just for a little, I don't know, change of pace. So if I make the new grid, let's go down here so I'm not, well, actually the easiest way to do it would be, let's just center the camera here as much as possible. And actually, yeah, let's just line up. So I'm using the edge of my blue zoning notification, turn snapping off so I can do this as I will, to space it out on the highway. I think that is about right. So as you can see, this, well, it doesn't show up unless I'm in zoning, but the difference between this line is probably as close to parallel as I can get it with the highway. So this will be our new grid. And of course, this may, you know, these roads are going to change a lot, but at least let's just get some grid spacing done. And if I can connect it to this one, that would be fantastic. Let's turn bending off. And let's just see. How about that? Is that going to work? It is probably one too far over. So let's try here. And yeah, what we can do here, a little kind of trick, is just make it connect like that. All the roads don't have to be, you know, sharp connections. They can kind of curve a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and bulldoze some of this other one. This will be just our awareness, grid awareness. And go back into education. Find ourselves the old high school right here. And that can live right about there. And I need to debind that key so I don't keep pushing it. Oh, and that one as well. Apologize for that. And the easiest way to get power, I suppose, a big power line. I don't like these, but they're temporary. I'll just take this up to 24 and back down to 0 just to get power. So how did that do for our schooling? We got still not, oh, okay, so there we got the bump. And if we double it up, capacity's probably 4,000. Maybe? Yeah. So we still need a little more high school, but I think we can kind of cover the rest of that. What is this? Oh, these are our old test buildings. I think we can cover the rest of that a little bit later. And let's see what else we got going on here. All right, so we've covered elementary school. We've covered high school. Do we want to get into a university now? This is a new asset I have yet to see. Let's see. That's another road crossing one. That's kind of cool. Turn the info view out. Oh. Crosses the road. I guess you must just have to dead end or turn the road. This one might actually work with our theme. Obviously, there's not too much space in this particular corner here, but something out like over here, or maybe over in this corner here. Yeah, how about that? Let's turn this area possibly into a university campus. Let's see, what universities do I have? I have kind of these old school ones. Maybe those will look better. This would be a little more modern. What if I turned this whole area into a university? It kind of backs up into the highway, but to do that, I might want to add a road. Straight road, please. Just like that. And where did my fancy pants? There we go. So let's just stick this. Actually, you know, it's going to have to, if the road's going to have to turn, do it sideways. And then from here, I just grab this and turn down and bulldoze the extra road. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. It's like sort of urban. I mean, it's a little suburban looking, kind of like a town center, like one of the suburban town centers that they're building these days. But let's go ahead and give it some power. Close enough? Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I like it. So we can build the rest of the campus around here with, let's see, State Library. What does this look like? That is a little too urban. I mean, I know this is kind of not urban, a little too modern. So maybe we'll go back to these kind of college buildings. How is that any different from? It's the same thing as this one? No, not quite. So we'll stick maybe the old university building here, and this will be kind of the newer buildings. And then we can kind of pepper the dorms around. Yeah, that looks good. And then if we're lucky, we can sneak this road. Will it fit? Yeah, we'll make it fit. Kind of bring this in, and maybe this goes, is this possible? Nah, it's gonna look terrible. All right, try again. Can I connect this? What if I turn snapping off? Not gonna let me actually connect it to the road. You know what, that's okay. I can make it like a dead end. Never mind, I don't like that. All right, so we'll think about what to do about that a little bit later. But this will be our university campus area. And while we're here, might as well just kind of finish it up with some dorms. Yep, saving. Okay, there we go. Now I don't want them flush to the road like that. So what I'm gonna do is go to roads, and I just want a zonable pedestrian road. I don't even need, ooh, this is a new one. Ah, boardwalk, that's kind of cool. I don't need that now, but that's good to know. And let's see, so we're going to connect this like this, and good, that gives us the bollards. And this will be our, you know what, get rid of this power line. And let's pause so nothing crazy happens. Let's see, here we go, dorm. And now, I like the way they look this way. So actually, before I even do that, I'm gonna turn off this zoning so I can get more of that roads access. And put it a little off like this. And you know, I'd want another one kind of, see if I can make this happen. I can do it like this. Nope, 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 that's not what I wanted. Bulldoze, please. And yeah, just like this. And if I wonder if it'll look any good clipped, but if it, even if it's not clipped, I can kind of leave it like this. So let's move it in. How does it look clipped together? Yeah, that looks pretty good. There's something, oh, the stairs. All right, so we got to get it all the way in so the stairs don't look weird. But Yeah, there we go. So that's a dorm building. We might be able to fit one more. So let's cut this off like this. We don't have to deal with the weird zoning. Now, how do we want the other one to go? I think maybe the other one goes here, and then we get it somehow vertically. Yeah. Can I just place it here and then move it over here like this? And now again, we have to look at these stairs to tell you how far in, although maybe not. Maybe, oh, okay. So there's still one step that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but I'm okay with that. Now this one can't be as far in, can it? Well, that's pretty close to the highway. Let's just take it out to the edge. How does that look? Sweet. All right, I like it. This is our university. Well, I'm sorry to say that has to be the end of the episode for this week. I know there was a lot of progress and not all of it was necessarily super detailed, but rest assured, next week, and if you're lucky, maybe in between weeks, I'll go ahead and produce another episode just going in and detailing a lot of what we worked on and what I worked on between episodes. So I definitely want to get the industrial area put together and detailed at least a little bit more than it is now. We have the university to finish, and of course that cemetery I spoke about pretty early on. But until next week, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. I liked doing it. If you did, feel free to click the like button. Make sure to subscribe so you catch the next one. I will be back, like I said, either next week or possibly even sooner for another episode of Cedar Valley Redux. Until then, my name's been Rotype, and I'll see you next time.